Hey guys, we are here at the Hillsong Studios talking with some of the guys from the team at Hillsong Worship. Dave Ware, Ben Fielding, Nigel, who I don't know your last name, I'm sorry.
Nigel Hendroff.
Nigel Hendroff.
He's known as the Druff.
He just doesn't need a last name.
He doesn't need one.
Like Kylie, Madonna, Nigel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two people I've often grouped Nigel in with, in fact.
Always. Now, you guys have just released There Is More. You've just been on tour with the album. Tell us a little bit about this project. What was the intention behind that title, There Is More?
Yeah, well, on the artwork, I love there's a picture of a man wrestling a lion, and it's a picture of Genesis 32 when God wrestles with Jacob, and I love that the way that story ends, where Jacob says, "I'm not going to let you go till you bless me," and so he wrestles with God through the night. And I love firstly the picture of God, that God would take the humble path to even wrestle with a man, but at the end of it, Jacob leaves with a new identity, and his name is changed to Israel. And I love that picture that when we go after God and we wrestle with God, knowing that God always has something more in store for us, that he does. He gives us a new identity in Christ. And so many of the songs on this album are about that. They're about finding our identity, not in other things that will compete for our identity, but in Christ. And we know that worship too is a picture of delving into the things of God, that we never run out of things to discover about who God is. There's always more. And worship is that process of discovery, seeing God for who he is, believing God for who he is, and then responding in worship.
While I've got you guys, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was how we look after our musicians, because obviously outside of the church, Avicii, we've seen so many of these artists we don't know what happened, but whether it's alcoholism or substance abuse, stuff is happening. So how do you guys as a church with young artists in your space look after them and make sure that they're healthy as artists? But then what can we do outside of the church as well?
Yeah, I think another good question. And I think it's helpful to talk about because, like I said, in outside of the four walls of church, there is this massive demand to be something you're not, to be someone you're not. And that disparity causes like tension within your own life. So I have a friend who was a really successful R&B singer, and he was married to the girl that was managing him, but for 7 years of his career lied about not being married to her because his label was like, "Oh, you need to not be married out there to be successful," and obviously that created tension. And so I guess for our younger musicians and even within our worship team, we encourage them to be part of community, to be in church, to be under the word, to have a relationship with God for themselves. I think if you nail those four things, you'll be in a good place.